arranged for a Dharma teacher from Israel and one from Palestine to have a conversation yesterday morning. And it was just, I was so moved. I just thought, this is what we need to do, you know? And it's like it's like whatever tradition you come from, if you come from a big heart, big mind, and can stay with, I mean, they weren't going around the painful stuff, but there was just a way that was respectful and kind and listening and reaching for how are we going to do this, and how are we going to find our way through the divisions, and that to me is what we're doing as practitioners, as people of my language, faith. You may not like that word, but people who just, I'm as caught in the world as anybody, worried, concerned, anxious, but I also know there's this deep through line that is my heart and my body and my practice, and together we'll just keep helping each other. So when 50 of us show up and say, yes, I will, that there's a power to that. So Rachel and I are going to take turns just reading little bits from each person's practice period, but I want to, I'm going to say a little bit about what I thought I was going to say. I want to read you again what when we open the practice period, because one of the things I love about is, we're going to open the practice period. So I go to Dogen and I go to this really thick book of his sayings, the Eihei Kuroku. I'm just going to read them again. Grateful practice. Practice realization manifests completely. It's already here. It already is. It's not exhausted through the ages of time. You can't wear it out. It's not waning in this time. It's just the cause and its fruit are completely fulfilled. Cause and effect, there is cause and effect. This happens, that happens. This doesn't happen, that happens. Study it. Study our own mind, study the world, study our speech. It's unlimited, no beginning, no end. It's the Enso. It's just, it's in breath, out breath. This is, I picked these out because they feel like entryways into the Avatamsaka Sutra, which is just Avatamsaka Sutra and the 10 grounds of the Bodhisattva just blow you. I mean, the whole, I don't know if it's, I have to be careful because I'm going to start saying too many things. Anyway, it blows your mind. This time blows my mind and it blows my heart. I mean, in a different kind of way. So this sutra is big enough to hold all of it. In the realm of this, there is no center or edge. For the body of wisdom, there is no front or back. The entire world is Buddha's body. I'm doing a riff on Dogen right now. Everything is Buddha's body. There is plenty, really plenty. We get scared, we go into contraction, we go into not enough, we go into fighting over because we think there isn't enough. It's already, there's plenty. What is that body? What is that mind? What is that place of practice? Once we penetrate the ebb and flow of alive, this present moment is, I love ritual because I always have the experience that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas show up. It's like the room is just crowded, and it's in all directions. You don't have to believe me, but you can just believe that it makes me happy. There's so much help here. You just have to remember and ask for it. So there's a book, Inside the Flower Garland Sutra by Ben Connolly. He just wrote a commentary on the Flower Garland Sutra, the Avatamsaka Sutra. And this is a poem that he has. 17th century China, the nun Keidu. Drop off the body. We thought, what is that? You just let go at the end of the exhale. It's just, you? Who are you? Just drop body and mind, and then the whole world rises again. And the river of the world will never end, stately and grand, nothing to show but the inner master Buddha nature. When morning comes, change the water, light the incense. Everything is in the ordinary affairs of the everyday world. Everything is in the ordinary affairs of the everyday world. Entrust yourself, moment after moment. Okay, so I'll just say one more thing. Is Ben, in the part of the sutra, the Korean aspect of the sutra that he talks about, we're going to do something a little different, but they talk about the round teaching. This is a round teaching. I really love that. It's like everything is round and holographic. And the 10 directions is in all directions, above and below. And we're just right in the center of this round mandala of alive. So as we read, I'm getting there, so as we read these descriptive, what each person said is you're just an aspect of this, not just. You are the full embodiment of this round mandala, just through this particular person, this particular life, these particular worlds and words. Whatever you said your intention is perfect. Not go out and blow it, no. You just keep coming back. And maybe you had set yourself up with some perfect intention and something else will arise for you that isn't like, oh, I'm failing. It's just like it will open for you. So trust yourself. Trust your practice period partners. Trust studying the sutra. Trust this life is teaching us. And as we there are amazing people in this Sangha and in this practice period. Everywhere there are amazing people. But for one, I'm always amazingly humbled by how many people have been practicing so long in this Sangha. And I'm amazed by people who have been who show up and entrust themselves. And of course they think they're the newbies. And of course we all know that beginner's mind is, we're all just beginners and we just bow and we just help each other. But I was once again amazed as I read these about how lucky we are. And I'm pointing to you guys online too. Okay, so.
Can I add something?
Please. No, sorry. See, she's already taking them. No, go ahead.
In the Ben Connolly book, I think, when he talks about dropping body and mind, he added something which I think is really important, that it's not like, because these are our bodies and minds, right? So we want to drop our body and mind, but it's not like we're just dropping them on the floor. And he has this image of like dropping them off at their grandparents' house.
That's true. That's true.
You know, and I that just moved me so much, because there's so many times there's a part of myself that I'm just like, get rid of it, which never works. But to love it, you know, and to actually be handing it, to drop it in that way, I just think that's a really beautiful image.
I'll just add, and then because I was saying to somebody this morning, you know, the story of Dogen, who founded the lineages when he was dying and he wanted to empower someone to pick up his position. And everybody thought that he would pick the perfect, smart, you know, could do all the forms monk. And Dogen said, in my understanding, said, I'm sorry, but what you don't have is grandmotherly mind. It's like handed to you. Take care of that kind of care, and he picked someone who had that quality. And that's always been a koan for me, so we can pick that up too in this practice period, is what is grandmotherly mind? What is this? Okay. So I'm going to read little phrases from 6 applications, and then Rachel Willen will pass it back and forth. We're not naming names. Been practicing 20 years, the last 3 with Dharma Heart Zen. Committing to be more regular in my morning sitting practice, attending Tuesday evenings and day-long sits. Right now, I'm exploring the extra stuff I pile onto a moment and the compassion and trust needed to drop some of that. Oh, I'm doing 6, that's right. I just read my practice period application from last year, and no surprise, this year I am continuing the exploration. To explore and become more intimate with longing and connection and oneness. To be as open and curious as I'm able in this exploration. I heard the poet Jane Hirschfield once say that if she had to distill her spiritual practice into 2 words, they would be pay attention. That kind of sums up my commitment. When I'm aware that the sensation of longing is present, what else do I notice, both inside and outside? When I feel particularly connected to myself, to others, to the present moment, what else do I notice? My intention is to keep my heart wide open to the crucial interconnectedness of all things. To do this, I will seek refuge on my cushion, bring my open self to Dharma teachings, and delight in the essence of Indra's net that is our Sangha. I'm currently working on understanding and practicing the concept of impermanence as it relates to attachment and suffering, and coping with my aging process. Really examining non-dualism and my othering tendency, especially around politics right now. I didn't count these out, so 2, 3, 4, that was 4. Okay, I've got 2 more to go. What's your intention? At the moment, I am captured by the 3 doors of liberation and Chelsea's talk on signlessness, and also its connection to loving kindness. There is something I want to be with. Kindness in its depth feels like a doorway, much like tenderness has been for me. And something more, kindfulness rather than mindfulness. Exploring the 3 doors and their keys, and what's brewing at the moment, and in big letters, and sit more. And grateful to the Shiso. Everybody says grateful to the Shiso. Okay, that was 5, so 1 more. Dharma Heart Zen Sangha community beckons me to show up each year to sit with uprightness and really see what is the truth. I've answered every year with as much humbleness as I can muster to dive deep into what is right in front of me. It's the best I can do. My deep dive this year is to shepherd the young part of me that is afraid and show her that she is indeed courageous, creative, and curious.
I find myself constantly trying to find a balance between being informed about the political humanitarian situation in the U.S. and the world and staying mentally healthy. I read a lot of news and commentary, and I feel the need to intentionally practice caring for myself during these difficult times, to stay afloat and to offer what I can to others. My intention is to sit at least 5 times each week to read and listen to a book on Buddhism at least 5 nights each week. I plan to write something about the day each night before bed, in prose, in poem, or a drawing. My intention during the practice period is to deepen my practice. I commit to daily sitting and studying the Dharma. My intention during this time is to continue to explore the different traditions that I study and blend together what I am learning into a deeper practice, and to expand my awareness of this world and how to offer more compassion and care in the different aspects of my life. I want to deepen my meditation practice and my dedication to Dharma. I intend to do more meditation and reading, as well as reflect on my path as a bodhisattva. What intention brings you to this practice? Faith in the Dharma, working with my fears, not letting them trick me into turning away. I am afraid. It has been challenging and liberating to share this with others. I am also hopeful and joyous and so grateful that tears swell in my eyes. And the next moment, fear again. Everything belongs. All of it is the path. My intention is to deepen my practice and maintain my connection with the Sangha. I am exploring patience and kindness when things get uncomfortable. Maybe something as simple as 3 breaths in the moment. As the process of practice period begins, it usually changes for me, so that's a starting point.
Continuing to deepen my practice. I have been practicing since 1998. To continue practicing to be as fully present and loving as possible on behalf of all beings. To sit wholeheartedly, enter the present, develop bodhisattva heart, and deepen Sangha ties. To return home with sincerity, imperfectly. And then a whole list of questions, wonderful questions. And then this person says, so many questions! To live into the questions, Rilke reminds me, to be patient and to welcome all of it. Person says they're on a new medication, trying to get used to that, and a major surgery coming up in November. And wants to have more consistent practice and to focus on self-care. Please take care of yourselves. Taking care of yourselves is taking care of the whole world. And it's helpful to know that when you're taking care of yourself, to dedicate it to the whole world, but don't skip yourself. Daily body care, stretching, PT exercises, etc. Read the text and meet with my partner. Reassess media and technology habits for the health of my mind. Slow down. Do one thing at a time and bring presence to it, and notice and listen to my body. Bodies, please, bodies. We all got one. My intention during this practice period is to meditate every day and to be patient with the voice that tells me there are so many other things that need attending to. I will take the practice of meditation more seriously. By committing to the practice period, I will experience whatever it is that I have to learn, rather than trying to figure it out ahead of time. I hope to develop a greater ability to act with diligence, patience, and kindness in the world each day. One of my spiritual goals is to learn to rest without slipping into slothfulness or procrastination. I also look forward to getting to know our Sangha more intimately and to gain a greater understanding of our path. Intention, how exactly to be useful in this messed up world and how to help my kids and my stepkids and my partners and all the people in her family and her life. And then says, looking forward to this practice period even more than usual. Are you counting? Was that 5 or 6?
6.
That was 6? Oh, good, she's counting. We're going to be a really good team. Different brains, we need them. Go for it.
My intentions are to deepen my practice. Each year I have tried to get closer to activities and relationships in the Dharma heart. Listening to others and Dharma lessons, deepening my ability to listen and learn from others. What intention brings you to this practice period? How do I integrate practice into every moment, leaving nothing out? Personal commitments, sit daily, read, study, and be in dialogue about the sutra, do my laundry and dishes regularly, maybe clean, fingers crossed, clean the garage. What intention brings you to this practice period? The intention to enter the boundless gates of Dharma. My practice now is grief and gratitude holding hands. I see this practice period as a time of renewal. What intention brings you to this practice period? To renew my practice. I have felt distance from Sangha, practice, and my commitment, and I want to step back in. Personal commitment to meditate daily, and my goal is to reconnect. This year it seems particularly important to gather resilience and compassion as our changing world rages out of control. Practice period restores my faith in our collective wisdom and deep power of love. Personal commitments. I will read the resource literature that's been suggested for us. I will create a ritual around meeting anxiety and letting it go. I will continue to find refuge in art, poetry, writing, and nature. I will practice pausing, breathing consciously, and feeling my body in the present moment.
Participate and support the Sangha. I'm looking into volunteering with a group that visits and supports those incarcerated in the local immigration detention center and interested in the Jizo project, Sacred Art. Aspiring to continue to grow in compassion and wisdom, practicing the Dharma for the benefit of all beings. Stay present and open, give my best effort always, maintaining joy and abandoning hope as much as possible. To continue to prioritize practice and Sangha even when other parts of my life are less stable and more stressful. To be as open as I possibly can to people, places, and experiences. To fulfill my ancestral vows, to drum up some enthusiasm and not to withdraw because of the world situation, to be grateful instead of depressed, to find wonder and beauty more often, to develop confidence and strength in practice and life, to continuously practice, to remember that everyone, no matter how vile, is an aspect of my greater self, to remember that things change. More dancing and music. Our thought now being no thought, our dancing and songs are the voice of the Dharma. More laughter, more love.
What intention brings you to this practice period? Aligning with life versus aligning with fear. Calling on Jizo and Protector Bodhisattvas to be here for my family and all families. Emphasis on fasting from news, social media, email, and certain foods. Revisiting Thich Nhat Hanh's 4 kinds of nutriments: edible food, sense impressions, volition, and consciousness. My intention in joining the practice period is to support the Sangha and to be supported by the Sangha as we journey together through these troubling times. My intention is to read and study daily the relevant chapter from the Avatamsaka Sutra and to allow its imagery and teachings of that day to penetrate my daily life. I will hold the question of how do these teachings support me in daily living and interactions. My intention, I would like to deepen my practice and further explore what it means to inhabit this Buddha body. I intend to explore the idea of continuous practice and how it can deepen my understanding of how to live a committed Buddhist, how it can deepen my understanding of how to live a life committed to Buddhist practice. I'm finding it is just too easy to step outside of practice when I am feeling negative emotions. My intent in applying for this practice period is to demonstrate to the limited extent that may be possible my ongoing commitment to practicing with Chris, to supporting you now also as the DHC fall practice period Shuso. I can and do commit to my ongoing life determination to generate bodhicitta within myself every minute, hour, and day. What intent brings you to this practice period? Further bonding with the Sangha. My personal commitment is to learn and grow. What intention brings you to this practice period? My commitment and intention to this practice period is to pursue what brings me peace, what makes me happy, and in the furtherance of spiritual fulfillment.
I am committed to enlarging my understanding of the Bodhisattva vows. I've been coming to the Sangha off and on since 2011. I have done lots of reading of spiritual books over the years. That has been part of a daily, regular practice for decades. I plan to have a daily practice that includes sitting and Qigong. Staying in good company. Notice my prayers being answered, acknowledging grace in my life. Off and on Zen practitioner for many years, much more off than on. I love things like that. I've seldom been a joiner when it comes to religious groups, and I tend to question things. I never do that. I know I don't need to believe everything in Buddhist texts in order to practice Zen, and I need to keep reminding myself of this. Deep down, I know Zen Buddhism is my spiritual home. Commitment to sit at home in the mornings, continuing to write haiku as part of my spiritual practice. My intention is to prioritize my spiritual path in my life. Working on staying calm, not reactive. Taking that backward step when needed. Practicing not dreaming about what might happen. Staying awake in the now, just this. Exploring faith. What is it? Where is it within myself? I didn't have to count, I came to the end, but you got the last pack. To stay connected to the community in a more personal way.
I think my intention is not to let the perfect be the enemy of the good, while also engaging wholeheartedly in my practice and in my life off the cushion, particularly in terms of living the precepts. Turning toward my discomfort and judgment and recommitting when things get hard. My intention is to become more involved with the Sangha, which means so much to me. Personal commitment to immerse myself in Sangha and be part of the practice, to practice sitting Zazen daily and plunge into the Avatamsaka Sutra. Intention is deep commitment to practice and Buddha Dharma and Sangha, healing and transformation. I'm also very excited to study the 10 Bodhisattva grounds of the Avatamsaka Sutra. My commitment is to slow down, quiet, and I'm practicing involving myself less in technology and devices. Practice as priority. My personal commitment is to sit daily, to work on seeing the Buddha in everyone, so hard, to notice the stories I make up and recognize them for what they are, rather than thinking they are reality. My intention is to deepen my commitment to our Sangha and to my practice period partners. My aspiration is to be more fully engaged with the Sangha and to deepen my connection with our Shuso. I see this as an opportunity to deepen my practice, to bring me back to the cushion, back to the present moment, to be present and to reflect on where I am in my life now. My intention, my desire to continue growing my own practice is continuous, and I am committed to my Sangha family, showing up and being present with a full and open heart, mind, and body. Personal commitment to show up and listen and learn, to show deep respect for my fellow practitioners.
So what we are practicing here is with and for the whole world. I was saying to someone this morning, Suzuki Roshi, one of my favorites, says, what we're doing is way too serious to take ourselves too seriously. And this is serious business. I mean, that's the good thing about living in a difficult time, is it's serious business. And how do we be here with each other and with the flies and with an amazing fall day and with our own wonderful, and I always say, I'll speak for myself, squirrely minds. You know, it's like study the self. You want to see what's going on out there that we're othering? Just stay here. Just keep taking a breath. Come back with compassion and awareness. And when you, during the practice period, whether you're formally in it or not, and you completely forget and you do something and then you think, oh my goodness, or you just like, you wake up 5 days later and you think, where have I been? Or, you know, what, or 5 minutes later, or whatever it is, just come back. I mean, you can feel the remorse of the grief of, oh my goodness, I caused harm, or oh, I forgot. I mean, that's tenderizing. That's really beautiful. Just to feel safe. The Jewish Dharma teacher in Israel said that he just cries all the time because he sees all the children as his grandchildren. You know, it's just, I mean, be willing to feel the sadness of the world, but of our own, how hard we all try and how loving we all are. And we just forget, and then we come back and we get more tender and we get more compassion, and this is just how it works. I mean, works, I don't know what that means, but it's just there's no beginning, there's no end, there's no front, there's no back. It's just, and what an amazing thing to hear all of these and to just know that when you forget, somebody else is remembering, and when you remember, somebody else is forgetting, and we're all just holding hands and we're waking up together. That to me is just a remarkable gift to find in this lifetime. You want to say some closing words?
I do not.
This is going to be so much fun this way. I've known Rachel for a long time. I'm going to say that Rachel is on Tuesday. She's doing her Way Seeking Mind Talk in Sangha. We're not going to record it so that it can be confidential. But I'll just spill all the beans right now. No. But I first knew Rachel through the Occidental Arts and Ecology Center and through Food for Thought when she was managing the food banks and walking in, and they were so, God, it was just so beautiful and so kind and so, it's just like, oh, this is Bodhisattva activity. And then they invited me to do some flowers, which of course from that point on was like completely smitten. So, but it's going to be really fun to get to know Rachel and all of you more deeply in this time, tenderly and vulnerably and upright and courageous, and because that's what we all are. Okay.
Now I feel compelled to say
So that's a really subtle guilt trip. No.
just that it really is moving to read them all and just see like what an amazing Sangha, how deep and how much practice we have, and what good intentions, and how much love there is for the Dharma and for our teacher and for one another, and for our emerging Buddha selves. And so I just feel really honored and really humbled, and thank you.
Okay, end of lecture chant. It's in the chant book. It says, we do, may our intention equally penetrate every being and place with the true merit of Buddha's way. Beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha
Buddha's way is unsurpassable. I vow to become it.